So we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome to Microsoft Fabric Cafe. I'm super excited to start this, series of, exam preparation. So let me just check some stuff on my end. And yeah, in the chat, feel free to say hi, where you're connecting from, and how's it going? While I'm busy checking some stuffs. Okay. I need to share my screen. Let me make sure if everything is up and running. I will be with you shortly. Learning Fabric. And for the slideshow, let me check if it's going to be a Windows. Awesome. Should be good. Awesome. Cool. Guys, how's it going? Yeah, we have hello from Ganani. Ganani, yeah, thank you for being here. Isabel and hello. Rajesh, hi, connecting from Bangalore. Awesome. Cool. I'm gonna share my screen and let's have it somewhere to share the entire screen. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully everyone is seeing my screen. And yeah, let's kick it off. Yeah, Ashton from Toronto. Yeah, snowy Toronto. Now it is snowy. I know something is happening in the east side of Canada. Cool. Let's kick it off. Session number 1 of series of DP-600 Fabric Data Days. It is a special event, a global one from Microsoft Fabric community. That's called Fabric Data Days. There's 50 days of learning everywhere and getting certified before the new year, right? So we are, and as in Microsoft Fabric Cafe, we are also joining this event, and I'm your instructor in this series of DP-600 and DP-700, which is going to be after finishing this. This is going to be probably 5 weeks from now. But yeah, we'll start with DP-600. We are going to get certified together and upskill together. My name is Mehrdad Abdollahi. For those who don't know me, Microsoft Learn Expert. I'm not the employee of Microsoft. I'm just in the community leader and the user group leader of Microsoft Fabric Cafe. I'm principal data architect based in Vancouver, Canada. It is Pacific time. It is 6 p.m. here on my end, and I'm always a learner. I would like to learn about the new stuffs. At Microsoft Fabric Cafe, it is a learning room in Microsoft Learn community, and also a user group in Microsoft Fabric community with over almost 5,000 members around the globe. And we usually have our weekly sessions, weekly Fabric coffee sessions. Our next one will be on Friday night. If you'd like to join us there as well, our speaker is going to talk about real-time intelligence at scale. We focus on Microsoft Fabric and and Power BI basically, and provide learning and support to Fabric users in all levels. It's a forum for everyone to learn, share, and grow skills together. On the screen, we've got all the links to our social where we present, and on YouTube. All the recordings are going to be available on YouTube channel immediately with the handler of Microsoft Fabric Café. And on our LinkedIn page and Meetup group, we do our announcements. So make sure that you do your RSVP on Meetup and rate the session, and just let us know if anything can be improved, or you would like to have it improved. And we have the community group on Microsoft Tech Community and in Microsoft Fabric community. There's a code of conduct. When you join the live sessions, be respectful, collaborate, embrace diversity, stay professional, act with integrity, use responsibly, and report any issues if you see. Thank you very much for adhering to them. So these are the normal stuffs that we go over in each week, but it is good to know. Session number 1 of series of DP-600 study group for Fabric Analytics Engineer in Microsoft Fabric Café. We are going to talk about just having an introduction of Fabric, introduction, and walking you through workspaces, the data movement options. We work with Lakehouse a bit. You're trying to we will do some data ingestion using Dataflow Gen2, doing the orchestration with pipelines, and also working a little bit with Spark. So let's see how it is going to how we are going to manage the time. I'm hoping for less than 2 hours, but let's see how it's gonna work. And but don't worry if we miss something, or if we need more explanation of something. Of course, we have the other sessions. We can have maybe a makeup session or an additional one based on the request. If there is any question during the conversation, please feel free to add it in the chat, and just with a mark of the question or something that we can understand it is a question. About the exam itself, exam DP-600, it was, as you can see, the skills measured was changed on October 31st, which I think is applicable from November 15, if I'm not mistaken. But it has been changed. There was a major change on them. The admin stuffs are basically moved away. KQL has been added to the the skills that are going to be measured during the exam. But no worries, we will cover everything. Basically the exam has 3 main parts. Maintain a data analytics solution, 25 to 30% of the questions. Preparation of the data, 45 or to 50, which is the heaviest one. And then implement and manage semantic models, 25 to 30% of the exam questions. We start with getting data. It is really broad and wide for all of the stuff that you're going to talk about. We try to cover most of the scenarios, most of the tools that are available, most of the items that are available in Fabric. And yeah, let's see how it's gonna work. But beside the preparation of the data, we also talk about version controlling, just for you to have access to just set up your version controlling and your Git integration. And also I can keep track of everything there. If you would like to be part of my GitHub, group, or you can just follow me there as well. We will just talk on that. Cool. Explore end-to-end analytics with Microsoft Fabric. Let's have an introduction. Microsoft Fabric is basically an end-to-end data analytics solution, which is SaaSified. I know previously, before Fabric, we had lots of tools. We still have them, but you had to do lots of integrations between services. But Fabric came to resolve, those integration services problems and complexity, and having everything in one platform called Microsoft Fabric, and which is providing us different experiences, different tools. The first one is the Data Factory, which is basically doing the data integration, combining the Power Query with the skill of Azure Data Factory. So basically, the Microsoft Fabric is bringing the best thing in the Azure and Microsoft landscape to enhance the capabilities of data analytics solutions. So in the Data Factory, we do the data integration and move the data, move the and transform the data basically, and orchestrating everything. We have the data engineering experience here with a Spark platform for data transformation at scale. We have the data warehouse for which is basically a SQL database, which is optimized for reading, and it is in high performance for doing the analytical stuffs. It is providing us with the data science experience with Azure machine learning and Spark for model training and execution tracking in a scalable environment. And also it is providing us with the real-time intelligence, which is the real-time analytics of streaming data, where you need to have a real-time dashboard, real-time processing of your data, and just do something right away, right? And which is working with the large volume of the data for sure. And lastly, we have the Power BI, the business intelligence part of the in this data analytic landscape for just translating data to decisions. The data is basically stored in a storage called OneLake. Just think of OneLake like your OneDrive, right? Your OneDrive, you have access to the OneDrive from your organizational account, and in the higher level, the organization has a big storage, right? It's called OneDrive, and each of you have a portion of that, right, which you can just use for storing your data. But the thing is that here in Microsoft Fabric, OneLake is providing us with a single copy of data. You don't have to copy the data for different departments. You don't have to having different version of a data even, right? So you're going to just have everything in one place. You don't have to leave Microsoft Fabric for the storage, for processing your data or transforming that even. Fabric is providing us with unified security and governance on top of that OneLake storage, and also the data that is basically stored in OneLake is understandable and compatible with the processing engines that are sitting in different experience of Fabric. The format of the files are basically the Parquet file and delta files, delta tables, if it is going to be part of the table, but it is basically the files that are going to be stored there are Parquet files. And what's next? So yeah, as I mentioned, one copy is a key component of OneLake that allows you to read data from a single copy without moving or duplicating the data. In Microsoft Fabric is providing the data teams to collaborate with each other, right? And they can work with each other, and we have different personas there. For example, we have the data engineers, right, who are going to work with data factory, data engineering tools, data warehouse, and real-time intelligence. We have the analytics engineers they're working with data factory, also Power BI, data engineering, and data warehouse. We have data scientists who are going to also work with data science section of that, and Azure Machine Learning. Our data analysts, report builders work with Power BI, and the decision makers are also working with the Power BI to see the end of all of those analytics, through the graphs, and just making the right decision based on those data. So it is very important that what data and what quality of data is landed in Microsoft Fabric that is going to be actually transformed, or actually it is going to be changed to a right decision for the whole organization. In this way and in this shape, we are going to our solution is going to just add a value to organization. In order to enable and use Microsoft Fabric, basically the Fabric itself must be enabled in your tenants by either your the Fabric admin, or previously was Power BI admins, Power Platform admins, Microsoft 365 admins, and the workspaces must be assigned to a premier user per capacity or Fabric license mode. We will just talk about that as well. We talked about workspaces, right? So workspaces in Microsoft Fabric are basically a container for the items that we have in Microsoft Fabric. That is going to provide, again, the collaboration possibilities that everyone from all of those data team members that I mentioned about, the data engineers, the data scientists, everyone can work together in one workspace, and they can share the things together, right? They can share the data analytics and also the reports. Workspace is organizing the Fabric items, the Fabric items like, Lakehouse, warehouse, pipelines, data flow for moving the data, and etc., etc. And the workspaces are automatically linked to, OneLake storage. There is no need to, do any specific, configuration. Automatically, this is going to be connected to that to OneLake, and everything that is going to be stored in that workspace automatically goes to the OneLake storage. Workspace is actually supporting role-based access control for making it secure, right? There are different, roles for the workspace. We will just cover that as well today. That are admin, member, contributor, and viewer. Each has a some sort of let's say permissions and the level of access to the workspace itself, what to do, what cannot to do. And also the other thing is that Microsoft workspaces are going to be tied to a capacity, Fabric or Premium, or even the trial license mode of Fabric. In Workspace, we can enable Git integration. and also creating the deployment pipelines. No worries, we will talk about the deployment pipelines, I think, in the session number 4, but today we will talk about the Git integration itself. And in the picture in the right side, you can see the different items in a workspace, which has also a task flow of what's happening there. Before jumping into the items or something like that, I would prefer to go and create our first workspace. Let's create one. I'm in the Fabric portal, app.fabric.microsoft.com. If you have to just connect and create your account with your work email, your business email, and just it is some wizard that is going to just identify your eligible for a trial or not. A trial is going to be activated for you. In the left side, we have this menu that is listing the list of workspaces. It is providing us with the OneLake catalog that you can just, whatever data stored in your OneLake is going to be listed here. We will just talk about that one as well, maybe in the coming sessions. You can do the monitoring of what's going on in your tenant and what are the jobs or activities, the refreshes, when it was started, when it's finished, and we have the real-time section, the real-time intelligence, basically, that you can just do the streaming of the data. We will talk about this, I think, in session number 4. And also we have the workloads, that what workloads are available in our tenant, and from the industry that you can just basically adopt them or add them to your Fabric tenant. And also, you can add, check your, the deployment pipelines that you have, across the workspaces and user-defined functions. In the bottom, we can just move between Fabric and Power BI. But for now, we are only working on Fabric. We may work on Power BI later. What else? Let's go to the home section. In the right side, we have, let me just have a look at this as well, the apps that we've got here, for the organization. And in the right side, you have the notifications of whatever that was completed or worked on, that is in progress. For example, for creating an item or a execution of a task, the notifications are going to be appear here. The important part from the right side is the setting, which is going to give you access to all of the setting sections in your tenant. If you're admin, you will see the governance. You will see that under governance and administration in the admin portal. You have access to lots of things. We are not going to cover everything in this one, because the admin admin related items have been removed, from DP-600 for some of them. However, wherever it is applicable and related, of course, we are going to just have a look at this one as well. And the other stuffs, like the preferences, in the setting, for example, in the general, what is going to be, what kind of notifications are available here, or what kind of notifications you would like to receive, once something is happening here. And what else? Yeah, that's good, I think, for now. Of course, for each item that is related, we will have a look at and work on that specific section in the settings. Cool. Let's create our first workspace. In order to create a workspace, there is a button here, Workspaces. It is listing all the workspaces in your tenant that you have access to. I'm the admin here. I have access to everything, of course. But by clicking on the workspace, let's name it something. We're going to create it together. So I would call it DP-600. Let's call it Fabric Database. Okay. The Fabric Database, we've created that. We can add, a picture for that, a photo for that. We can define the contact list. For example, my Fabric user is the owner of this. But if you would like to have more people to be in your contact list for the workspace, you can add them here. What license mode we are going to add to that? Of course, I'm going to work with trial, but there are different options available in actually on condition that you have purchased the Fabric license and the capacity. So yeah, that's it. And the capacity that I'm using also is the trial. Yeah, and apply. Let's create it. Guys, if there is any question or something, feel free to ask. And let me just drink water. Sorry. Cool. The next step, yeah, let's back to the slides. I mentioned that we can have the Fabric items in our workspace, right? So let's check one of the existing workspaces that they have. Let's have a look at this, the CI/CD, that I took the screenshot from. Here is listing all of the items available in this workspace. Even I have created a task flow for just something of logical things that each task, each item that I have created is related, for example, for getting data, for storing data, for visualizing data, or preparation of the data, right? That I can understand the sequence of that. And it is basically connected to a source control as well, right? There is no changes or something, the branch that I'm connected to. But here you can just create the items and based on your needs in that workspace. And even you can just manage your workspace here, except for the Git integration that I'm going to talk about. There are some other stuffs like even you can change the name or the description or what domain this belongs to. The domains basically are going to be related to the different departments or organizations in your organizations. For example, the domain of financial, the domain of HR or sales or something like that. And only the admin of the system can remove the workspace. It is not available for everyone. For managing the access to this workspace, you can just manage it from here. You can add the people and give them the right permission. We will talk about that as well. And what else? When you have the items, you can see the view deployment pipeline, right? I've got a pipeline here, which is in the different stages, from dev to test, from test to production. Not going to talk about them now. Just wanted to show you how it does look like. And the other thing is that you can just create the folders here and in the workspace, you can create the folders to just categorize them, logically or something like that, for having a nice and tidy workspace to understand what is happening. When the items are going to, the number of items are going to be increased, it is going to be really hard to manage them and find the related items together. So it is better to just put them in the right folders. And what else in workspace? I just try to not missing anything, right? Please let me know in the chat, if I'm too detailed, but it is, the way maybe we can learn together. The items here that can be listed like this, or even just see them in the lineage view to just see what is related to what, which is really nice thing to just visualize the relationship between the items. I mentioned about the folders. That is good, but this lineage view is just showing us the, when we change something, or for example, let's delete something, or reconfigure an item, we should know what is going to be the consequences of that, what other services are going to be impacted by that change. Cool. Let's back to, so we can create the items, right? Let's back to the stage. Sorry, to the slides. But there's some comments. Let me just have a look at this. So it's saying it's good news that admin stops has been removed from the exam, but we still have to cover the administrator and govern MS Fabric part. It's still part of the learning materials for analytics engineering. Of course it is, yeah. But the majority of admin stuffs have been removed, and maybe it is just opening the discussion for a new certification for Fabric admin. Of course, it is going to be new opportunities there. And one person, for example, the data engineer cannot do the admin stuffs, and it is completely related to those personas. In Microsoft Fabric, we have different types of items, which is basically go back to the architecture and the strategies of a data solution. Basically, when we want to do an analytical, when we want to do actually create an analytical solution, we firstly get data from somewhere, store it from somewhere, or transform it, then store it. Then we are going to again work on that. Maybe we transform it again, and we are going to create a model on top of that. Then we are going to make a visualization, or from the middle, we are going to get the actually use the data for some sort of data scientist stuffs that are going to utilize those data for their purposes. For this reason, we have different actually categories of the items. I listed them here, and we will just have a look at each the items in each category. First of all is get data, store data, prepare data, analyze and train data, and track the data, visualize data, and develop data. Can we skip what? Skip the items in the chat, but we are not going to just talk about everything. Talk about every single item, but it is good to have them. For getting data, we can have copy job, data flow stuffs, event stream. When we want to bring the data in, we have the opportunities of mirroring data, mirroring databases into our workspace. and having the data available in our workspace. We can have the pipelines to orchestrate of loading the data for copy data activity, for example, or notebook and Spark job definitions that we are going to also there bring the data in somehow. For the storing of the data, for storing of the data, there are different options. Some of them are in preview mode, like Cosmos DB and SQL database. However, we have the Microsoft Ignite in, I think, coming week, and maybe some of these guys are going to be generally available. Let's wait for the announcements. I guess SQL is going to be generally available. But the storage, just a tip here. Usually the items and features that are in preview are not going to be part of the exam. But since we have the Ignite coming and the skills measure changed recently, maybe some of those most common used items in preview are going to be also in the coming exams. So it's good to know about them. For storing the data, we can store them in Lakehouse, Warehouse, Eventhouse, or in the semantic models where we keep the data for doing our analytics which actually on top of that we are going to create our Power BI reports and so on and so forth. It is for the storing the data. For data preparation, we have the items like copy job for only created for copying data from A to B, right? We have Dataflow Gen1 and Gen2, and we have event stream for transforming the data, and of course notebook, pipeline, and job Spark job definitions are also available. And in the preparation of the data, we have the mounted ADF, Azure Data Factory. You can mount it to your Fabric workspace, and also Apache Airflow jobs. For analyzing and training the data, we have the items like data agents that I guess it is going to be part of the GA for this Ignite. We have the environment that is basically a shared library for Spark compute settings, machine learning model, graph model, experiments, which is related again to machine learning, and in combination of that, notebook and Spark job definition. As you can see, notebook and Spark job definitions have a wide range of capabilities. So, however, it is going to mostly be questioned in data engineering in DP-600 exam, but we have to just cover that because it is going to be part of our data, getting data and data preparation. We have the items related to track data. That is basically in the real-time intelligence. When we have streaming data, we have live data that we would like to track that. We would like to just check everything real time and just doing some action based on what is happening to the data. For that one, we have the activator, which is doing the monitoring on the items, and once something is happening in the data, it can just activate a let's say Power Automate or sending something to Teams as a message or something like that. And for the tracking the data is not always the real-time streaming. We also have for the copy job, it is just listening to what's happening in the source system, in the source database, that if everything is new, it is new, just inject it to Fabric storage. And yeah, about the real-time intelligence, we will talk about them in session number 4. About the visualization of data, we have the dashboards for sure. We have reports, Power BI reports. We have the real-time dashboards and the other things, scorecards that are the nice stuffs. And in order to develop the data, it is available for us to work with API for GraphQL, just for querying your data outside of Fabric to just query them. What else? We have the variable libraries for having a set of the variables and values per environment. And in the other section, we have the solutions for retail solutions, sustainability, and whatever that is. Ashkan is asking for why we do not have some of these items in our Fabric item list. Is related to the license. If you need to check that, but one thing that comes to my mind is in what region you are looking at. Your tenant is based in. My tenant is based in Australia. Maybe some items are available there, but not available in Canada. You need to check that as well. That what item is available in what region, even for those previous stuffs. Okay, yeah, we talked a lot about the items. It was a good review of what items are available for what reason. We talked about managing access for workspace, but the available roles in workspace are in 4 categories: admin, member, contributor, and viewer. And from the names and this arrow in this nice slide is showing how the permissions and authorizations are basically is decreasing when we go to the right side. Of course, admin has the most and has full access. Members have similar to admin, but a little bit lower contributor than viewer. Here I listed actually Microsoft Learn is listed in the website, in the documentation, and I brought it here. You can check mostly when it comes to the management of the things, the admin and member can do the management of allowing others, for example, to reshare items or adding or removing people with lower permissions. Or, for example, admin only has access to update and delete a workspace. Or, just nominating someone as the, I see it's a bit, yeah, let me just change the layout. I will be back. Yeah, and wherever it is only about the reading and accessing, viewing the data, it goes for the viewers. And the contributors are those, users with those roles actually that are doing maybe the development part of the stuffs for creating the items, for configuring them, and just creating and making them available for the next level, which is the viewer. It is another set of the capabilities of each role, and how you can manage that is basically in your manage access, as I mentioned before. You can just add a user. I'm not sure if I have any user here. Add people or group. I cannot find it now, but If you have any user, then you can just simply assign one of these roles to the user that you've got in your organization and in your team. You can just make someone admin or member or contributor and viewer. Okay, it's back to slides. Cool. Let's jump into CI/CD in Microsoft Fabric. As I mentioned, you can link your workspace and whatever item that you're going to create, to your Git repository, to have access and actually to have the version controlling of that. What is CI/CD? CI/CD is, in short, is continuous integration and continuous development, or sorry, continuous deployment or continuous delivery. It is basically automating how Fabric content is developed, tested, and released across environments. Dev, test, prod is a very traditional and maybe best practice of a life cycle of a solution, like the data solutions, or even web applications and whatever that you are going to create. So of course you are not going to do the development in the prod section, so you have to do it on your dev environment, then test it, be tested by a business user and whoever is going to be the final user, let's say, then just move to the prod section and being fully tested and reliable and isolated for only the authorized people. There are some components of that, but before jumping into the components, let's just talk about the branches that we have for Git. It is the best practice. One of the workflow options that I brought here. We will talk about the different options for the workflows in session number 4. But let's say we have a branch of main branch in our Git repository, and just push it and link it actually to the workspace of dev, and then with using the Fabric deployment pipelines, we just move them to the next stage of our whole solution. And if we want to add a feature to the version of data solution that we have, we just create a new branch with a base of our main branch, then do our development and just push it to main branch. Of course, it is going to be a let's say a collaboration between team members and the release manager, let's say. But the items that we have available, in Git integration is in this the whole CI/CD in Fabric is the Git integration, where you can link your workspace to your Git repository that we are going to do it now. It is going to just track the changes, and you can create the branches, and also managing the pull requests. We are not going to be that deep for CI/CD process, which is not the actually the subject of our exam, but it is good to know. There is another component called deployment pipelines that I mentioned about. It is just going to manage the deployment from one stage to another. We are going to utilize variable libraries where we need to, for example, set up the configs across environments. For each environment, we can have a set of variables, and it can be automated using the REST APIs, and yeah, that's it. Let's move to the next slide to see what are the options for Git integration? The Git integration actually in Fabric is working with three tools. One of these guys, you are going to choose. Azure DevOps, it has to be in the same Fabric tenants. However, the cross tenant is in preview. It may be become GA and this Ignite. We have the GitHub and GitHub Enterprise that is actually only supporting the cloud version of them. And today I'm going to just talk about GitHub. And the requirements when we want to when we want to connect our workspace to our repository. In GitHub, you need, of course, an active GitHub account. You need to create the personal access token, either a fine gain token or which is actually you are going to just define the permissions of the content read and write access is the minimum thing, and the classic or a classic token. And in Azure DevOps, of course, again, an active Azure DevOps account, same user and tenant in Fabric. And as I mentioned, it is in preview for cross tenants, and the user has access to an existing repository. Cool. Before jumping to the next section, let's link our workspace to the GitHub. I jump into my GitHub account and I'm gonna create a new repository for this course and this series, and let's call it DP-600 Fabric database. All good. And let me just take it to the description. Feel free to follow it. Let's create the repository and let's add a README and commit the things. So yeah, it is ready to use. And here is the URL of that. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was how to create that access token. You need to go to the right side of here on your picture, settings, and in the settings, developer settings, and you can make use of actually create a fine-gained personal access token by creating that. I have already it is just a simple step, just generating the token, keep it somewhere safe, and just connect it. However, I have done this connection before. I can just show you what I have in manage gateways and connections. I hope it is going to work. Otherwise, I have to create a new one. But it is the connection type should be GitHub source control. I have this CI/CD. I hope it is going to work on that. However, let's go to join it to our Git integration, Git repository. So for doing that, making that connection and integrating with Git, we should go to the workspace setting. From here, let me just bring it from the beginning. Workspace, it is our current workspace that is showing here. We can one more thing, we can pin this workspace and doing some settings and access here, but you can also access the workspace setting from the top right your screen, and then go to the Git integration. As I mentioned, you have two options for GitHub, I am going to use the basically the connection that I have created before. It is not a really big thing. You can just add accounts here. Just give it a name. The token that you have copied from the previous step in GitHub, and it is optional to give it the repository URL, but you can add it later as well. Let's connect to this already created one, and let me go to this Fabric database. Let's copy the URL and then give it to the repository URL here. When it is connected, it is going to load the branches here, right? I have the main branch, which I'm going to connect to, and connect and sync, right? So there is nothing, still in my workspace. When we create a new item, it is going to be just identified here, and just let's say we can commit it and push it to the repository. No worries, we will create some items today, and we can test it. Cool. Let me back to the slides. Guys, any question, any comment? I wish I had you, in the call, and you could talk. I'm going to be the only talker. I'm going to be boring for you. Awesome. The next topic that I want to talk about is choosing between a Lakehouse, warehouse, or Eventhouse. As a Fabric engineer, Fabric analytics engineer, you need to know what storage option is the right option for you to choose for your storing the data, even for landing the data, for staging the data, or how you're gonna just store your transformed or aggregated data, right? And what are the options? We have, let's just call this 3 storage option in Fabric: Lakehouse, warehouse, and Eventhouse. No worries, we will just walk you through all of these 3 one by one in this 4 sessions. But from a Lakehouse, is a combination of a data lake and warehouse, which has the the purpose of that is basically for it is a unified storage for big data and analytics. Warehouse is basically a relational data for BI and reporting, the purpose of that. And the Eventhouse is real-time analytics on streaming data. Each has the clear purpose. And what is it best for? These are, for example, for Lakehouse, it is best for doing the data engineering, machine learning, and unstructured data, because the Lakehouse is providing you with the opportunity to store your files there, the unstructured data or semi-structured data that the warehouse is mostly suitable and for structured data, where you have the tabular and relational models and semantic models on top of that, and you can just create the dashboards. However, you still have the options to create the tables and semantic model on top of Lakehouse. But let's say what is the best option for your scenario? And Eventhouse is the best for telemetry and log data and live dashboards. that the data is just going to be append, and which is time series data basically. The query language in the Lakehouse, you can work with SQL and Spark if you're going to use a notebook to transform your data or work with your data. In the data warehouse, you use T-SQL, and in Eventhouse you used KQL. However, in Eventhouse, you can write your SQL and it is going to be converted to KQL. So it's not a big deal, but you need to know the KQL for this exam. The data types, as I mentioned, for Lakehouse, we will have the structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. But for warehouse, we have structured data. In Eventhouse, we have streaming and time series data. The performance focus for each of these guys are a little different. Lakehouse is focusing on flexible compute and transformation with using the notebooks, let's say, with Spark engines. And for example, the performance focus for warehouse is the high performance for doing the relational stuffs and the governance of the data, the row based actually row level based security. And in Eventhouse, the low latency is important for us. So, and which is actually, since it is part of the real-time intelligence experience, the low latency and instant insights are very important for us. The users that are going to each of these guys are also a bit different. Mostly data engineers and data scientists work with Lakehouse. BI developers and data analysts work with warehouse, and data ops and monitoring teams are working with Eventhouse. However, data engineer may also work with warehouse and Eventhouse. Lakehouse has integration with Spark engines, Spark workloads, and notebooks and pipelines. Warehouse has a good integration with Power BI and semantic model, but it is not the only available for warehouse. For example, semantic model, as I mentioned, you can still create the semantic model on top of Lakehouse, right? It is not the only option. And the Eventhouse has integration with EventStream. What is EventStream? We will just have a look at that, but it is streaming data from a time series and real-time sources like stock market, like a factory which is sending the status of the devices and machines in that factory, in manufacturer. And about the integration again, for Eventhouse has integration with EventStream and RTD, real-time dashboard. All of these three options for data storage share OneLake as the common storage foundation. Eventually, all the data is going to be stored in OneLake. So you're gonna choose based on data type, latency needs, and analytics workload. So let's get started with Lakehouses in Microsoft Fabric. What is Lakehouse? As I mentioned, Lakehouse is a combination of data lake and data warehouse. Data lake is basically like what we have in Azure Data Lake Storage Gen2, where you can store files, tables, and so on and so forth. And in the data warehouse, you have tables, you have the relational tables in SQL that is giving you, the opportunities of querying, SQL right? But Lakehouse is combining these characters of these two let's say storage options, in the industry. We had both of them before in Azure, but now they have been combined. The data lake is scalable and distributed file storage, flexible schema and read semantics. What does it mean? You can just choose this, the schema that you're going to read from a Parquet file, right? Or for one use case, you're gonna read the data, in one specific schema for the list of fields or type of them, and just naming of those, let's say, columns. And in another scenario, you're gonna read in another shape of schema. It has the compatibility with big data technologies, and on the other side, for data warehouse, it is actually providing the relational schema modeling, and you can just query the SQL for exploring the data and working with the data, and it is basically proven basis for reporting and analytics. Lakehouse is the combination of them. When you create a Fabric Lakehouse, it is going to give you one Lakehouse, the type of that, if you look at my screen, and a SQL analytics endpoint that is going to provide you with the an endpoint, visualized one that you can just write your SQL queries. Previously, we had the another item with Lakehouse that was just adding to the Lakehouse set was a default semantic model, but now it is gone and it is not going to be created. It was somehow useless for having a default semantic model. And if you need that, you can just create it, bring whatever table that you need, and just create your semantic model. That, as I mentioned, you can just query the data and also seeing the tables there. Let's just create one. No, before creating, let me just tell you about this, and then we can create it. When it comes to data loading to Fabric, to Lakehouse, you have the different options how to bring the data in. If you remember, the items that we covered initially for the Fabric items for getting data, there were some different options. But now here for Lakehouse, we can bring the data in with uploading a file. We can bring the data in using a notebook, Dataflow Gen2, pipelines, copy activity. This is not added here, and even shortcuts. Shortcuts are basically we can create shortcuts to outside of Fabric where we have access to, and there are 2-3 options for creating the shortcut. We will just cover it as well. And also Eventhouse. Eventhouse can push the data into a Lakehouse. I'm not sure about this. Okay, let's create our item, our Lakehouse. So in order to create the item, you can create it from here, new item. Here you can look for that or search for Lakehouse. And as you can see, the Lakehouse is in the store data section. You can just choose a name for that. Let's call it my Lakehouse 01. I don't know what to name for now, but let's name it like this. There is an option for having the Lakehouse with the schema. This is still in preview. I'm not going to create in this shape, but we can create another one with schema, but it's not a big deal. And the location here, you can just choose the location. If there is any folder, you can just add it to that folder, right? So since there is no folder, it is going to be in the root of this workspace. Let's create it. And when it is going to be created, as I mentioned, two items are going to be created, one Lakehouse and one SQL Analytics. Let me jump back to the workspace, as you can see here. And when the item is added, let's back to the Git discussion. In the source control section, it is showing us 1, which means, okay, 1 changes here. What is the status of this item? My Lakehouse 01 is added. Once I'm done, I can just push it to Git. And when I'm going to just push it to Git, it is going to create a folder in Git for its metadata and how it is created. Let's leave it for now. And from the top, by the way, from the top, you can just explore the items that you have opened. It was not like this previously. This nice thing. A Lakehouse has two main folders, tables and files. In the files, you can just have your, let's say CSV files, or even in the tables, you can have your tables. Let me check if I have any file. But before that, let's have a look at how we can get data into here. As I mentioned, upload file, new pipeline, data flow, new shortcut, and connect it to an event stream. For getting data, you can just upload a file. I'm not sure if I have any CSV file. Yeah, I've got some files here, orders and products. I can just take this, check this overwrite the files. That's a good point. And then, Mizanur, unmanaged data in files and managed data in tables. Yeah, basically in the files, you can have your semi-structured data or unstructured data even in your file section. And in the tables, of course, we have the tables. And the tables are going to be delta tables. We will create them now. We have uploaded these files, the sample files that I've got here. And if we look at the actual file, it has some data as a CSV, and that's it, right? But there is an option, for example, here to load to table, right? It is going to be a new table. Let's call it as is orders. And when we load the file as a table, let's see what is going to be happen there. Let's while one load to table action is in progress, you cannot do it for the second one, and you have to wait for that one. That one looks like it is finished, as you can see in the notification. you can see successfully created order table. And as you can see this here, let me just do it for products as well while we are checking what's behind the scene for these orders. As you can see, I'm not sure if we can zoom in, but there is a small triangle underneath of this folder. Sorry, this table, which is showing, which means a delta table. What does delta table mean now? If we click on this and view the files, we can see it has a Parquet file, or even more than one Parquet file, which is having the actual file plus a folder called delta log. The delta log is basically storing the history of that file, and it is going to grab the last version, the latest version, and then you can just travel in time, just back to the version that you would like to see. But here it is like a table. Is a table actually, and you can see the columns on that, and just have a look at this. But it is only in the Lakehouse view. If you would like to do actually the SQL querying, you can just change the mode to SQL Analytics endpoint. Here you've got access to the tables, and then just very simple one, new SQL query, set top 100, and it's going to be executed. You can save it as a view, or even just let's say aggregate them, or somehow the view can be utilized. When you are on your Lakehouse, then you can create the semantic model on top of that. So now you have two tables, right? Products and orders. I'm going to just choose both and name my semantic 01 and confirm it. I'm going to just create a model on top of these two tables that I have created in my Lakehouse to see what are the options are going to be available for me. And each item that we are creating is going to be part of our workspace items. Now it is in progress. About the semantic models, we will talk about in detail in session number 3, but it is just a walking through the items. I'm not sure how deep we can go today. It is already an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, our semantic model has been created. If we go to the workspace, we can see that semantic model here. And source control, we can just change it. Okay, for a Lakehouse, again, we can do more, right? We can do more. We can get the data from different other items. Let's just connect it to an event stream, right? And I want to bring some sample data. I don't have any live streaming data, but let's have the stock market. Let's connect it. The source name, let's say source stock market, and connect. So what's happening here? The stock market values are going to be streamed into our event stream, and then we can just transform that data. We can do whatever aggregation that we need to do, and then load it to somewhere, load it to a Lakehouse, let's say. So it has been created, but it is not linked to our Lakehouse yet. We can open our event stream here directly, or say finish, and then we can see the new event stream has been added to our workspace. We can open it here, and there is the destination has been added. That's good. That's good, but it's inactive. Let's go to the edit mode. Just make sure it is not linked to the workspace that I want. What I'm going to do, just change the workspace to DP-600, the Lakehouse of my Lakehouse, and I'm going to create a new delta table. Let's call it stock market table. Okay. It is the data that is going to be there. Save it and publish it. No worries about the, again, real-time intelligence. We will be, deep enough on that. I'm going to just make them active. Just activate the source and activate the activating the destination. And while it is loading, we can just check other stuffs. So we have loaded by uploading. We have connected to event stream. We can load the data with a Dataflow Gen2. Load, let's say, financial data, right? And when we want to create the data flow, we can enable the Git integration for that. That is going to just track the changes on the data flow definition and configurations. Let's create this guy. The destination of this is going to be our Lakehouse, because we have created this, the default destination. However, we can change it always, right? But the default destination is going to be our my Lakehouse 01. And I can just get the data from a source, right, for the data flow. What I'm going to get the data into is, let's, I didn't want to actually go that detail for data flow. Let's talk about this in the data flow section. Sorry for that, and because we have to just talk about this later as well. But in the meantime, I will go to my Lakehouse. I'm going to, for my Lakehouse, and let's check if the new table has been added here. Not yet. From the event stream. It takes time, that event stream just starts to run. It is still loading, right? It takes time a bit for initializing that load. Okay, let's jump into our slides. and save time. So we checked how the data can be loaded into a Lakehouse. Oh, I missed that. The shortcut. Let's create a shortcut and see what are the available options for us. In the Lakehouse, we can create a shortcut. And the shortcut options are limited here. We cannot have a big number of shortcuts. But the good thing about shortcut is that you don't have to bring your data into Lakehouse itself. It is only a shortcut, right? Among them, I'm going to, the options that are available, the internal source, you can create a shortcut to OneLake in Fabric itself, or even outside of Fabric, you have the options for Amazon S3, the Dataverse in Power Platform, GCS for Google Cloud Storage, Azure Blob Storage, and ADLS Gen 2. From there, I'm going to choose ADLS Gen 2. I've got a storage account here with having a file in this container of data called financial sample. It is a Excel file. Let's see if the connection is working. ADLS Gen 2 and from data, I'm not sure if, yeah. It is linking to the folder. I'm not sure if it is going to work. I have to just change my if I have to change my connection to that file specifically, because it is linked to the the container. Okay, now we can see. Sorry, I have to just jump to the different scenarios because of the time. But here we have now the stock market. The stock market table has been created from that event stream, and here you can see the columns here available, and even the data is going to be loaded shortly. As you can see, the data now has the different columns. For example, at this date and time, the symbol of NSFT has this bit price or bit size. Whoever actually is likes the stock market stuffs, they can play with that on your end. For that shortcut, yeah, the shortcut is, let's see if it is loading. Yeah, the shortcut is loading, actually is showing us the file of Excel file, and we can just access this Excel file as well. This Excel file is sitting in Azure Data Lake storage. Hope it was helpful and understandable. While we are on this, let's just push these changes related to our Lakehouse. And we need to just, it is good to have a commit message when we want to push the changes to our Git repository. Let's say Lakehouse related items. And we can just choose what to push. And I'm pushing everything. And the Git status is showing us also if it is committed or not, which is going to be committed. Let's leave it as is while it is busy for committing. And let's back to our item. Can we access to this workspace to check and practice? Ashkan, yeah, for sure. You can just I think I made that Git repository in my GitHub public, but I will double check that. If it is not public, you can just let me know. In the Lakehouse, you can explore, transform, and visualize data in the Lakehouse for sure. And the tools that you have available there are Apache Spark. You can create notebooks and Spark job definitions. We will just do it quickly. SQL Analytics endpoints that we covered. Dataflow Gen2, we are going to work on that later. And also the data pipelines. And then you can just visualize the data using the Power BI on top of that semantic model that we have created. Okay, yeah, we talked about Lakehouse stuff. Now let's jump into a data movement strategy. As a Fabric analytics engineer and in the future data engineer, you need to know what is your strategy for moving the data and what tool you're gonna use for doing your movements. What is the best option for you? It is a guide actually that is drawn in Microsoft Learn documents that is listing some items like mirroring, copy job, copy activity pipeline in the pipeline, or even event stream. What is the scenario? What is the source? Or what is the best option for you? The sources that you can use for mirroring, we have some sort of databases, and also it is providing us with the third-party integration into open mirroring. Copy job, it supports all the data sources that are available and formats. Copy activity, the good thing about the copy job, let's just talk about them as well. It is basically providing us with different copy modes. Let me just jump into here. The copy modes that it is providing us with CDC, with batch for public bulk copy. It is supporting the incremental copy, only get the changes, right? And it is going to copy using the user-defined query, which is also available in copy activity. For mirroring, it is checking for, it is basically a replication of your database, right? Of your live database, where you have, outside of Fabric, like Azure SQL database, like Snowflake, Azure Cosmos DB, the options that we had in mirroring section. And there are, of course, the use cases for that. For mirroring, it is a continuous replication for analytics and reporting. And the good thing about this is that it is free. It's free of cost. And I guess there are some number of times that you can configure the mirroring in one tenant. So again, based on your scenario, different scenarios are there. You need to just check what is the best option for you, what tool is the best option for you based on the requirements on your end. Let's jump into this section and see what's happening. Is it still committing? No, it's already committed. Everything is committed, synced. And let's have a look at the items that we've got here. Yeah, for each item that is pushed into the Git, we have a folder. Load financial, you see 1, 2, 3, 4. And some items are not going to be part of our Git integration. There are always some limitations, right? However, it is not a big deal. Of course, we don't need the SQL Analytics endpoint because there is no, let's say, dependency on that, except for the views that we are going to create the query sets, but it is not going to be part of our Git integration. And here we can see those folders, and for each folder you can just go and explore what is stored there. For example, as you can see, we have shortcuts metadata, right, or Lakehouse metadata JSON. If there is any, for the shortcuts, it is giving me a, for example, the type of that, for example, ADLS Gen2, and the connection ID, what is the location and what is the subpath of that. These stuffs are going to be stored in your Git integration, and then even if you just branch out this copy from the main branch, you have to just do some changes on your end for the configuration. What else? Wanted to check something in the Lakehouse. Oh, one more thing. No, we have a section for notebook. Sorry, my bad. Let's back. So the next section of our discussion is ingesting data with Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. One of the powerful tools in Fabric that is providing you with low-code graphical environment for defining ETL solutions. It is pure ETL. You're extracting data from somewhere, transform it, and load it to a destination. You can extract it from multiple sources and do whatever that is required there, and just push it to your destination. It can be executed independently or as part of an activity in a pipeline. We will do both as well. There are some benefits of the Dataflow Gen2. It is allowing self-service user access to a subset of data of whatever that you need. You can just create the, for example, the data flow for only the data of 2025 or 2023, a subset of data from a data warehouse. You can just optimize the performance with actually the data flows that you can only you only load the data for one time, extract from one time, and you're gonna reuse it for different purposes. For it is just simplifying the complexity of data sourcing, or even doing the transformation of your data. And of course, there are some limitations also always. It is not the data warehouse, of course. It is only a subset of that. And the row level security, which is basically available in your data warehouse, is not available in Dataflow Gen2. And actually Fabric capacity workspace is required. If you don't have Fabric capacity, you have to use Dataflow Gen1. Which was part of the Power BI. The Dataflow Gen2, we will just work on that after this, has different sections. section, the top of that is the Power Query ribbon that you can just work with your data set. The query pan, and number 2, that you can just create the queries, bringing data from different sources, or even calling functions, to do something, just in loop, for example, on your data set. In section 3, you can show the diagram of your queries and the number of steps that you've got. It can be switched on or off, from the bottom right. In the number 4, you have the preview of your data, and on top of that, you've got the code behind each step. And basically, the Dataflow Gen2, Dataflow is a step-by-step working with the data, working on the data, and prepare it to be loaded to your destination. And there's actually some sort of settings in the right side. The Dataflow Gen2 can be integrated with pipelines. It means that it can be executed as part of a pipeline and utilize the pipeline's properties. For example, just to passing some sort of parameters if it is required. Yeah, let's jump into our Fabric portal. Guys, any question, any comments? Nothing? Cool. Awesome. So let's go to create a data flow. I can either create the data flow in as part of the Lakehouse, as I was creating here, or creating a new item and just in the getting data or preparing data. We can see Dataflow Gen2. Even we search for that, we can see that in 2 different experiences, right? I can either get the data in, let's say sales load sales data, right? Load sales data. I've created a data flow previously. Sorry, load financial data. Let's use this one. And why it's not loading? We have actually activating destination is still running for event stream. Let's make them deactivated to not eating our resources. Okay, should be good now. My data flow is not loading. I may have to create a new one. No, it is there. And our this default destination is the Lakehouse that I have. I'm gonna just get the data from somewhere. Okay. For data flow, the good news is that you have really hundreds of data connectors and sources that you can choose from. If you go with the files, on top, you can just choose what you need, and you can just filter on that. For example, for the files, you can have the Excel file, CSV, JSON. It can be read from anywhere. For example, let's say for the Excel workload, I can just link it from somewhere, right? Or upload the file myself, or even sorry, I hit the cancel. Or even I can just read the data from databases. The databases are coming from different places, IBM, Google, Cbase, everything, that you can imagine. Whatever use case and possibilities that you have on your end is going to be, the testing for you, ClickHouse or something. They're going to just some of them are in preview, as it is marked as blue preview here. And even you have access to the Microsoft Fabric stuffs. For example, I can load the data from the Lakehouse that I have, right? I have this Lakehouse here. What Lakehouse is it? Yeah, it is going to just list the Lakehouses in the next step for me. That I can access to all the lake houses across the tenants, the workspaces that I have access to. The good thing is that in this case we can just reuse the data that is loaded by someone else somewhere else. And but however, I've got a file in my Lakehouse, the DP-600 Fabric database. It is going to load my Lakehouse. Let's see how it is going to work. I created a shortcut to my ADLS Gen2. However, I can directly read the data from my ADLS, but I'm not sure if it's going to be loaded here. No, it is not. It is not loaded here. These are the things that we can just experiment together. So let's choose the stock market, for example. I'm going to just get the stock market. The stock market is a big table, I guess. It is a big table, but let's bring it in. Today we are only just playing, with Dataflow. The next session that we will have next week on 18th of October, same time, we work on the data preparation and data transformation. But it is just playing with that. We have the list of queries, as I mentioned. We have the steps here, and it can be visualized even here as well, or just changing the diagram. A tip again: if your data flow is part of actually the Git integration, I will show you later. If it is a Git integrated data flow, you won't see the publish button here. The publish button is only available for non-Git integration stuffs. However, saving and closing, the data flow is going to act as a publish step as well. Let's just add some query settings. For example, I'm going to get rid of bit price, for example, let's say, or ask size, or just doing something. I don't want to, and I can just remove columns from here. It is going to add a new step here, right? And this new step has a code in the in the in this section for this expression that we have, which is getting the data from previous step. The previous step name is navigation tree. Then it is just removing columns. What columns? These two columns. Then I can choose my destination, right? I can ignore this destination and remove this destination and see what are the other available options for my destination. You can see the available options here, and I can see it. I have the Microsoft Fabric. In Microsoft Fabric, we can push the data into Lakehouse, Warehouse, and SQL database. In the Azure, we can push it to Azure SQL database, Azure Data Explorer, and also ADLS Gen2, and also just push the data into our SharePoint. In this section, we are going to push the data to the Lakehouse that we already have in our system. And of course, it is going to ask us about a table name when we are going to push the data into the table, right? If it is an existing table or if it is going to be stored as a file. But I want to say just stock market as, let's say, refined table, right? Refined table. I have to choose the Lakehouse here. It is my Lakehouse and the table name. Then that's it. As I mentioned before, we can and we can just use automatic setting for the data, for the data type of them, or changing, the column mapping. If we switch it off, we can just specify the data is going to be appended to the to the data that we have, or it's going to replace it. For the replace, basically it is going to wipe out whatever that we have and load the new data that we are providing to that. And about the schema, are we going to, if it is a replace, it is going to be a dynamic schema or fixed schema. And if it is append, the schema is not going to be changed for sure. And the thing that we are going to specify and define now is going to be our schema. But of course, these tables are going to be utilized for some analytical stuffs. And changing a schema on fly or having dynamic schema is going to be, a cause of failure of our semantic model and maybe our reports. So it is better to just think of what section, items we are going to choose for. Let's for now use this automatic setting and save settings. It's almost 2 hours. I'm gonna just save, run, and close it, right? Save, run, and close means that it is going to get the data from source, transform it with the steps that I worked on, and then push it to the destination. So I should expect the data in my Lakehouse once it is loaded. Let's see how it is going to work. I should expect a new table here. And the other thing is that in our workspace page, we can see that a run is in progress for our data flow, right? And also you can, if you click on this 3 dots, you can schedule a refresh of that data, or even canceled a refresh that is happening right now, and also see the recent runs. For this recent runs, is going to just list whatever execution that we had for this. Now it is in progress, and it is going to just have one row per. Let's have a look at this. One row per query and table actually that we have, right? For example, here it is the data flow name. The step is the status is in progress. Cool. So, and as you can see, since we have done some changes in that data flow, it is just identifying the changes in this option, in this item, and we can see we only have one item has been modified. It is actually, we are working directly with the main branch, which is not the best practice, right? If you remember, I told you for each feature that you are going to add, it is better to have a new branch, right? New branch and new workspace, right? And in this way, you're gonna have a better, and more reliable development experience. So it is loaded now. We should see the data in our Lakehouse. Let's check if we have any stock market refined. And in this stock market refined, we have just removed 2 of those columns, and it has fewer columns in comparison with what we had in this stock market. Yeah. For example, I think I removed the bid size or something. The ask size, yeah, ask size was removed, and bid price also was removed from here. Cool. Let's check what else we have. The next section of our my presentation is orchestrating process and data movement with Microsoft Fabric. We are talking about pipelines. The pipelines are the tool for orchestrating some sort of let's say the activities and data flows and data tasks in one pipeline, which is going to be a sequential thing or in parallel, and whatever that we are going to define on that, right? That is that then we can schedule that execution and then monitor that, and just having an overview of everything that is happening in one sequence of execution of these tasks. In pipelines, you can there are some concepts actually. The main of that is the activities, where we can just drag and drop or add them, and just defining, for example, after completion of this task, do the next one. After failure of this task, do the next one. For those guys who are coming from a background of programming or application creation, you can just understand what's happening. We can have the loops, we can have the control flows. So we have different type of category of activities. First off is the data move and transformation. We have the control flows, metadata and validations. We do the orchestration, not sending the notifications, transforming the data, machine learning activities. We also have the parameters for sure. A flow in the real world is always parameterized, because we need to fit that data flow, with that pipeline flow with something. And we have pipeline rounds, which is showing a history of whatever that was executed in that period. One of the common activities is copy data. We can just copy the data from a source and configure it and push it to a destination. Our destination might be the Lakehouse that we are working on. In the pipelines, when you are going to create a pipeline, you can make use of the templates for common activities. For example, a bulk copy from files to database, or copy data from ADLS Gen2 to Lakehouse file. These are the common things that are happening, and there are templates that is going to be a good start for you if you're new and you don't know where to start, right? And how your flow is going to look like. I talked about the run history of the pipelines, that you can just check the history of them. And before the execution, before saving, you can just do the validation of all the steps are valid. However, it is going to warn you about any mistake or error in your configuration. Then you can schedule it, as I mentioned, and view the run history. So let's jump into the Fabric portal, and let's create our pipeline here. I'm going to create the pipeline by searching for that. Again, it is for the get data and prepare data. Both are similar, but it is just loaded here. The pipeline say load financial data, no, load sales data, let's say, right? I've got a database in my Azure account. It is a SQL database called MyDB. The data behind that actually is the AdventureWorks, the famous and the sample data from Microsoft. Of course, you can use it. So in the pipeline, when you land in the main page of a new pipeline, it is going to just give you some options. You can start with a blank canvas with choosing an activity from the pipeline activity list, or start with guidance, right? If you have no idea what's happening, or if you want to use those templates, right? We talked about the templates just now, and which is no more than the list that I showed you before, right? They are the common stuffs that are happening. When you choose them, it is going to list the items that are going to be available. Even you can just import your template and add it to your gallery here. And also you can just practice with sample data. If you don't have any data, you can start with the sample data, or starting with copy data assistant. It is, copy data is nothing than an activity in the pipeline, right? But let's choose the copy data. We also have the copy job, which is another story. It is something like copy data, but the copy job can be executed independently, but the copy data cannot be executed without pipeline. As I mentioned, the list of activities in a pipeline are in different categories. For move and transform the data, you can choose copy data, copy job, data flow. The data flow is basically dependent on another a data flow created in your workspace or somewhere else, right? We already have one. We can have that data flow in our pipeline. For example, like this, I choose a data flow. Let's call it a step of load financial data. However, the data that we loaded was stock data, stock market. We can change the name later. In the settings section, shows the workspaces that we are going to execute the data flow from. So if you have access to the other workspaces, you can just choose it here, and listing the Dataflow Gen2, for example, CI/CD, load financial one, and that's it. And then we can just save it. And we can validate it. There is no error, has been validated, no error were found. So it is not the only thing that I want to do here, right? We can add the steps afterward, right? The steps say, for example, in each let's say result of execution of this step, we have on completion. Anyway, it is completed, either failed or skipped, or not skipped, failed or successful, or we can have unfail, unsuccess, and unskip. I would like to say, on completion of this, right, let's have another activity, right? I want to have an activity of copy job. Let's add something. I want to copy the data from sales data, right? The sales data from a source. What is my source? I should specify source and destination for a copy job, right? For a copy data. My source is my database. My database is sitting in. Let me just hit the edit for you. You can see what does it look like, right? There's a name and the URL of my Azure SQL database. There's a basic authentication that I have. I can just test the connection, make sure I am connected correctly to this. While it is busy, let me check if I can. Actually, I wanted to query the data. Okay. Let me just take a table from here. For example, let's have top 1,000 of order header. We have the ship date. Awesome. That's good. We have the table of this guy. And then I want to just say, hey, write a query for me. Just top 1,000 of sales order header. I can preview the data. If it shows anything, yeah, I have the data now here. And I want it to be loaded where? I need to just set up my destination. The destination can be, let's choose our the Lakehouse, right? I can choose the connection of my Lakehouse. The Lakehouse of my Lakehouse. It is going to be a table. I wanted a new table. Let's say sales header. right? It is going to either upsert, it is in preview, which is fantastic thing. When we say upsert, we need to just specify the key column, right? But I say just go for append if it is anything going to be there, or overwrite it. For upserts, it is still in preview, but let's just use it quickly. We should have a key column here, sales order ID. Sales order ID, I'm gonna just add it here, and that's it. I can have the mapping, you know, I can have them just importing a schema from the previous one and doing something, but it is not our discussion for now. How I'm gonna relate these together, you know, they can be executed separately without any sequence, but if I have a logical flow of the executions of the items that I've got, I can say, hey, on completion of this, execute the copy data, save it, then I can, once it is saved, I can validate it, all good, then I can just run it, execute it. What is it doing? It has two steps. In the two steps that it has, firstly goes to load the stock market. It is executing my, let's go back to the steps here. It is executing my data flow. The data flow is being under execution. And then it is going to execute the copy job, right? The copy job that we have here. Okay, sorry, the copy data that we have here to load from my SQL, Azure SQL to the Lakehouse. And of course, we can just see the run history. It is still in progress, and we can check the execution later. It can be scheduled. The pipeline can be scheduled. You can just add a schedule here by the minutes. For example, repeat every 15 minutes, repeat every monthly, for example, and in which day of the month, and normal schedule stuffs. About the endorsements, we will talk about that later in session 4. What else? Let's check it. And here is still in progress. And for the trigger, even we can have triggers that is going to, execute this pipeline, right? And you can have different triggers. The trigger can be from a fabric item, or for example, if one item has been added to the workspace, then it is going to just execute this guy. Cool. Let's make it shorter. So it is completed, and it should be, the whole execution should be completed. Even from here, the pipeline that I've got, I can see the recent run, and it is still in progress. Even we can just see them in the monitoring section. Remember, in the monitor section, we can check the execution of everything that we have. Just do a refresh. It is succeeded, finished, awesome. We can just retry that or view the details. How long did it take time? What was the start date and end date time, and what are the related artifacts that we've got, related items that are involved in this execution. We have the Lakehouse and also the financial data flow. And in the my Lakehouse, we can see the result of that execution, right? We should have a table called sales. If it is going to be here. Yeah, sales header. We can see this table in this Lakehouse. Of course, I'm going to check later if I missed anything in the discussion of the pipeline. It is 2 hours and 15 minutes. We're live. I think we can skip this section for the Apache Spark and maybe talk about this in our next session. Our next session on next week, which is going to be part of data preparation. I skip it for now, and let's wrap up the session. It is going to be maybe boring for everyone. So the skills that we talked about and covered today is the configure version control for a workspace. We have done it, and let's, by the way, go here, and we have 2 uncommitted stuffs. I'm going to just pipeline creation, let's say, right? And choose these 2. One of them was modify the financial data, and the other one was for the pipeline that I have. So we created some data connections. There are lots of things to talk about. We will talk about discovering OneLake catalog and real-time hop later in session number 4. We ingested and accessed data in Lakehouse using different tools today. We talked about choose between a Lakehouse, warehouse, or Eventhouse. Hopefully by end of the session number 4, we can just mark everything as green to make sure we are not missing anything. Our next session, the session number 2 of this series, will be November 18th at 6 p.m. It is already in our meetup group. You can just show your RSVP there. For sure, the recording of this session will be available on YouTube channel, and both my YouTube channel with Mehrdad Abdollahi 2024 and also the Microsoft Fabric Café YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn if you haven't done yet. We can just chat. Sorry, you will receive the announcements. If you have any discussion, if you want to share your knowledge, your experience, feel free to join the Microsoft community groups in either in Microsoft Learn community or Microsoft Fabric community. You can start a discussion, and also in the meetup group, share your feedback with us. And I would like to have the honest rating on that one. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you very much again for your. Let me just stop sharing. So guys, how was it? Did you like it? Not? See, some people, this has gone. Ashkan, would you mind uploading your slides into? Unfortunately, these slides cannot be shared. These are Microsoft assets, and they cannot be shared. However, you can access the recording wherever you want. And yeah, I'm always available to answer any question if there is any. Guys, if you don't have anything to say, thank you for joining. Thank you for being available here, Robert. Yeah, it was a pleasure. By the way, if you haven't registered for exam vouchers, I'm not sure if you're ever or not. Uh, then you can just request for that. There is a link. I will share it on my LinkedIn later. I forgot about actually adding that to my presentation, but it will be shared and it is everywhere. You can just look for that, just for discount 100% for Fabric exams, that you have to just take them and redeem those vouchers. There are some conditions that you need to meet before applying. And then, yeah, let's get certified together. Let's up skills together. And yeah, Abram, thank you for joining. Excellent. Basically, a DP-600 put camp. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, hopefully at the end of this series, we can just have a better community. Guys, enjoy your evening, day, wherever in the world you are. And share the recording with your friends, whoever wants to learn about Fabric, and just provide us with your feedback. If you like it, just give it a thumbs up and share it with your network. Yeah, thank you, Ashkan. Have a good night. Cheers. Bye bye.